You won't believe what happened between these two celebrities. It started as a normal day, but destiny took an unexpected turn, and what unfolded was something no one could have predicted. At first, everything seemed fine, just another day in the industry where stars crossed paths, exchanged words, and moved on. But this is where it gets interesting because this story wasn't just about a misunderstanding, it was about power, ego, and a moment that would be remembered for years. One celebrity was riding high on success, their career shining brighter than ever. They were loved by millions, admired for their talent, and respected in the industry. The other was no stranger to fame either, but they carried a different energy, one that demanded attention, one that refused to be overshadowed. When these two personalities clashed, it wasn't just a simple disagreement. Let me tell you, the tension in the room changed instantly, and everyone who witnessed it knew something serious was about to happen. At first, it seemed like a joke, a harmless back and forth exchange. There were smiles, maybe even a few laughs, but beneath those smiles was something much deeper. The words turned sharper, the glances became colder, and the energy in the air shifted. But here's the shocking part. What started as a casual conversation quickly escalated into something no one expected. It was as if years of unspoken rivalry, hidden frustration, and silent competition had suddenly exploded into reality. People around them tried to diffuse the situation, brushing it off as just another Hollywood moment. But this wasn't something that could be ignored. It was personal, intense, and unforgettable. One of them made a comment that hit a nerve, and that's when everything changed. The response wasn't friendly anymore. It was sharp, direct, and full of emotion. Everyone watching held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. And this is how a simple moment turned into a full-blown controversy. It didn't end there because what happened next took things to a whole new level. The craziest part? The cameras may not have caught everything, but the people who were there never forgot. And when the story finally came out, the world couldn't believe what had really gone down. The tension in the room was impossible to ignore. What had started as a normal interaction had now turned into something far more serious. The energy shifted, and people around them could feel it. Some tried to pretend like nothing was happening, while others were completely locked in, waiting to see where this would go. And this is where it gets interesting, because what happened next shocked everyone. The celebrity who had been silent until now finally decided they had enough. They stepped forward, their voice calm but firm. They weren't going to let this slide. The words they spoke were carefully chosen, but the message was clear. This wasn't just a small issue. This was something much bigger, something that had been building up for a long time. And right then and there, it all came pouring out. But here's the shocking part. Instead of de-escalating, things only got worse. The other celebrity wasn't backing down either. They had their own version of the story, their own feelings about what was happening, and they weren't about to stay quiet. Voices got louder, the conversation turned heated, and before anyone could process it, the situation had spiraled out of control. People in the room exchanged nervous glances. Some tried to step in, but it was too late. What had started as a war of words was now something else entirely. One of them made a move, something unexpected, something no one saw coming. The craziest part? It wasn't just about proving a point anymore. It was personal, deep, and full of emotions that had been buried for years. And this is how a simple conversation turned into a full-fledged showdown. But the real question is, how did it all end? Because what happened in the next few moments changed everything. And when the truth finally came out, the world was left in complete disbelief. Silence filled the room for a split second. It was the kind of silence that comes before a storm, the kind that makes your heart race because you know something big is about to happen. Everyone held their breath, waiting. And then it happened. You won't believe what came next. The celebrity who had been holding back finally snapped. Maybe it was the buildup of emotions, maybe it was the pressure of the moment, or maybe it was just years of unresolved tension finally boiling over. Whatever it was, they weren't going to stay quiet anymore. They looked straight into the eyes of their rival and said something that left the entire room in shock. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it hit like a thunderbolt. This is where it gets interesting because that one sentence changed everything. The other celebrity's face went blank for a moment, processing what had just been said, and then they laughed. But it wasn't a lighthearted laugh. No, this was different. It was the kind of laugh that wasn't about humor. It was about disbelief, frustration, maybe even anger. And this is how the situation went from bad to worse. At this point, everyone in the room knew there was no going back. The tension had reached its peak, and things were happening fast. Words were exchanged, sharp, cutting words that left no room for misunderstanding. The rivalry that had been brewing in silence for so long was now out in the open for everyone to see. People tried to step in to calm things down, but it was useless. This wasn't just an argument anymore. It was something deeper. But here's the shocking part. The world didn't know any of this yet. Behind the scenes, this was the biggest thing happening. But outside, the fans, the media, they had no clue. They only saw what was on the surface. But that was about to change because what happened next? It didn't just stay in that room. It spilled out into the world in a way that no one could have predicted. And when it did, the internet went absolutely crazy. The fallout was immediate. The moment this story reached the public, it spread like wildfire. Headlines popped up everywhere, social media exploded with theories, and fans were completely divided. But here's the craziest part. Both celebrities stayed silent. No statements, no clarifications, nothing. It was as if they were letting the world figure it out on their own. And of course, that only made people even more desperate for the truth. Then, out of nowhere, one of them finally broke their silence. But instead of clearing things up, they dropped a single cryptic message. Just a few words that sent fans into a frenzy. It was subtle, but the meaning was clear. This wasn't over. You won't believe what happened next. The other celebrity saw the message, and within hours they responded. Not directly, not by name, but everyone knew exactly who it was meant for. And just like that, the controversy reignited. This is how a private moment turned into a full-blown media storm. People were picking sides, analyzing every word, every detail, trying to piece together what had really happened. But then, out of nowhere, a shocking revelation changed everything. Someone from inside, someone who had been in that very room when it all started, came forward with new details. And this is where it gets interesting because the truth wasn't what people expected. It turns out there was more to this story than anyone knew. The tension, the rivalry, the confrontation, it had all been building up for years, hidden beneath the surface. And when it finally came out, it wasn't just about that moment anymore. It was about history, about competition, about personal battles no one had ever seen before. But destiny took an unexpected turn because after everything, the drama, the silence, the public feud, something no one expected happened. After all the chaos, after all the back and forth, the celebrities came face to face once again. And this time, it wasn't about proving a point. It wasn't about winning. It was about finally putting the past to rest. And when they finally spoke, the words they exchanged left everyone speechless. Because instead of more drama, instead of more headlines, they gave the world something completely unexpected. A moment of honesty, reflection, and maybe, just maybe, the start of something new. But was it real? Or was this just another chapter in their never-ending story? That's the question everyone is still asking. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. And if you love hearing about Hollywood's biggest controversies, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.